Welcome to the Growth Mindset Center YouTube. Please take a moment of your precious time and generosity to click the subscribe button, comment. Thank you very much. Please listen to the next great content. What if your greatest power wasn't what you say, but what you choose not to react to? Imagine mastering the storm inside, so nothing outside can shake your calm. Your emotions are your energy. Either they control you, or you harness them to lead your life. Ladies and gentlemen, in life, we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. The difference between those who crumble under pressure and those who rise above it is not intelligence, not talent, but mental. Discipline, the ability to stay calm when everything around you is chaotic. Your emotions are like the ocean waves will come, some will be gentle, some will be storms, but if you train your mind, you become like a deep, steady current beneath the surface, unshaken, unwavering in control. One of the greatest abilities you can develop in life is the ability to stay calm. Under pressure, emotional control is not something you are born with. It is a skill just like any other that requires effort, patience, and practice. Many people believe that staying calm in difficult situations is a personality trait, that some people are just naturally unbothered, while others are quick to react that this is not true. Staying calm is a learned behavior. And the good news is, anyone can master it. Think about the most successful, respected, and influential people in the world. What do they all have in common? They don't panic in the face of adversity. They don't let their emotions dictate their actions. They maintain composure, think clearly, and make wise decisions, even in the most stressful situations. This is not because they were born different. It's because they trained their minds to remain steady when everything around them is uncertain. The truth is, emotions are powerful. They can push you toward greatness, but they can also lead you to make the worst decisions of your life. How many times have people lost their temper and said something? They later regretted. How many relationships have been broken because of uncontrolled emotions? How many opportunities have been lost simply because someone reacted impulsively instead of thinking things through? If you cannot control your emotions, your emotions will control you, and when emotions control you, they make you weak, reactive, and easily manipulated. Training your mind to be calm in every situation is like training a muscle. At first, it's difficult. You will feel the urge to react immediately, to speak before thinking, to allow frustration, anger, or fear to take over. But just like building strength in the gym, the more you practice emotional control, the stronger your mental discipline becomes. Over time, you will notice that things that used to make you angry no longer affect you. Situations that once caused you anxiety now feel manageable, and instead of reacting emotionally, you start responding with wisdom. One of the first steps to developing emotional control is awareness. Pay attention to your emotions. Observe how you feel when someone says something negative to you. Notice the way your body reacts when you are placed in a stressful situation. The goal is not to suppress your emotions, but to understand them. The moment you become aware of your feelings, you create space between emotion and action. This space is where your power lies. Most people react immediately without thinking, but if you can pause for even a few seconds and acknowledge what you are feeling, you give yourself the opportunity to respond intelligently. Another powerful way to train your mind is to detach from the need to always react. Many people feel the need to respond to every insult, every challenge, every situation that arises. But the truth is, not everything requires your energy. Some things are not worth your attention when you learn to be selective about where you invest your emotional party. Energy. You begin to conserve your power. You don't allow minor inconveniences to ruin your day. You don't let small disagreements turn into major conflicts. You simply observe, evaluate, and decide if something is worth your time. More often than not, you will realize that remaining calm and walking away is the best response. Another key to mastering emotional control is understanding that you cannot control everything, but you can always control yourself. Life is unpredictable. People will test you, circumstances will challenge you, unexpected events will happen, but you always have the choice of how you will respond. Many people spend their lives trying to control things that are out of their hands. They try to control other people's actions, they stress over things they cannot change, and they waste energy worrying about the future. But those who train their minds to be calm focus only on what they can control themselves. When you take control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions, you take control of your life. You stop blaming external factors for your feelings. You stop allowing other people's opinions to dictate your mood instead of being pushed around by life. Circumstances. You become the one who decides how you will feel, how you will act, and how you will move forward. This is true strength. The process of developing emotional control requires patience and consistency. Some days you will succeed, and other days you will fall back into old habits, but the key is to keep going every time you choose to stay calm instead of reacting. You strengthen your mental discipline every time you take a deep breath and think before speaking. You build emotional intelligence every time you let go of something that is not worth your peace. You take back your power. You must also understand that training your mind to be calm does not mean suppressing your emotions or becoming emotionless. It simply means learning to regulate your emotions so they work for you, not against you. Anger, frustration, sadness, these emotions are normal, but they should not control your actions. A calm mind does not mean an empty mind. It means a mind that is disciplined, focused, and able to make decisions based on wisdom rather than impulse. Starting today, make a commitment to train your mind. Start small the next time you feel frustrated. Pause the next time someone tries to provoke you. Breathe. The next time life throws a challenge at you, step back and evaluate before reacting with time. These small practices will become habits, and these habits will shape your mindset. A person who masters their emotions masters their life. You have the power to remain calm no matter the situation. You have the ability to develop unshakable inner strength. It starts with a decision to train your mind, to take control of your emotions, and to choose peace over chaos. And once you make that decision, you will see how life begins to change, because the calmer you are, the more powerful you become. What you focus on grows. Your mind is constantly shaping your reality based on the thoughts you feed it. If you focus on stress, fear, and negativity, your mind will amplify those emotions, and you will constantly feel overwhelmed. But if you train your mind to focus on solutions, opportunities, and inner peace, you will begin to see life from a different perspective. The ability to stay calm in every situation starts with what you allow yourself to think about. Your mind is a powerful tool, but like any tool, it must be trained and directed. Without discipline, it will run wild, reacting to every situation, emotionally instead of logically. Most people go through life without realizing how much power they have over their own minds. They allow external circumstances to dictate their mood, their actions, and their responses. If something bad happens, they immediately panic. If someone says something negative, they take it personally. If an obstacle appears, they assume the worst. They live in a constant state of reaction instead of control. But the truth is, your emotions are a result of your thoughts, and your thoughts are a result of your focus. When you train your mind to focus on what truly matters, you gain the ability to remain calm, no matter what is happening around you. One of the Biggest reasons people struggle with emotional control is that they allow their minds to dwell on problems instead of solutions. They focus on what went wrong instead of how to fix it. They replay negative events in their heads over and over again, making themselves feel worse with each repetition. But worrying has never solved a single problem. Stressing over a situation has never changed an outcome. The only thing that creates change is action, and action requires clarity. You cannot think clearly when your mind is consumed with fear and negativity. When you focus on the problem, you give it more power. But when you focus on the solution, you take back control training. Your mind to focus on solutions requires practice. The next time you face a difficult situation, ask yourself, what can I do about this? What is within my control? What is the best possible outcome? These questions shift your focus from worry to strategy, from panic to action. Instead of allowing emotions to take over, you become intentional about how you respond. You begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth, instead of obstacles meant to break you. Another key to mental discipline is understanding that not everything deserves your attention. Many people waste valuable energy reacting to things that do not matter in the long run. They get offended by minor comments. They dwell on things they cannot change. They allow small inconveniences to ruin their entire day. But a trained mind knows how to filter out the noise. It understands that peace is more valuable than being right. That self-retreat is more important than proving a point, and that not every battle is worth fighting. When you develop the ability to control what you focus on, you naturally become a calmer, more powerful person. There will always be situations in life that test you. People will challenge you. Unexpected obstacles will arise. Things will not always go according to plan, but your ability to remain calm in these moments depends entirely on what you tell yourself. If you believe that every difficulty is a crisis, you will feel overwhelmed. But if you remind yourself that you have overcome challenges before, that you are capable, that this too shall pass, you will handle every situation with strength and confidence. Developing this mindset requires daily practice. The thoughts you entertain today shape the way you react tomorrow. If you spend your days consuming negativity, gossip, and fear-based information, your mind will default to anxiety and stress. But if you fill your mind with knowledge, wisdom, and positivity, your default reaction will be calmness and clarity. You must be intentional about what you allow into your mental space. Read books that expand your perspective. Listen to messages that strengthen your mindset. Surround yourself with people who uplift you instead of drain you. Your mind will always reflect what you feed it. Meditation and reflection are powerful tools for training your thoughts. Taking even a few minutes each day to quiet your mind and focus on your breathing can help you build the habit of staying present. When you learn to control your thoughts in moments of peace, you will be able to control them in moments of chaos. Journaling is another effective method. Writing down your thoughts helps you process emotions and gain clarity on what truly matters. Instead of reacting impulsively, you train yourself to observe, reflect, and respond. With wisdom, letting go of what you cannot control is another essential part of maintaining mental calmness. Many people waste time worrying about things that are beyond their influence. They stress over the past, fear the future, and obsess over other people's opinions. But the reality is you cannot control everything. You cannot change what has already happened. You cannot force people to act the way you want them to. You cannot predict the future, but what you can control is your attitude, your mindset, and your response to every situation. When you learn to focus on what you can change and let go of what you cannot, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. And of the calmest people in the world are not those who live perfect lives, but those who have mastered the art of perspective. They understand that challenges are temporary. They know that setbacks are just setups for comebacks. They refuse to let emotions dictate their actions, because they know that a clear mind makes the best decisions. This is the level of self-mastery that you must strive for. When your mind is trained to stay calm, you gain control over your life. You no longer react emotionally to every situation. You think, you strategize, and you move forward with confidence. This is not to say that you will never feel emotions. You will feel frustration, disappointment, and even anger at times, but the difference is you will not allow these emotions to control you. You will not act out of impulse. You will not let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. Instead, you will acknowledge your emotions, process them, and then choose the most effective response. This is what separates those who succeed from those who struggle. Those who struggle let their emotions lead them. Those who succeed train their minds to stay calm, no matter the situation. So starting today, commit to training your mind. Be intentional about what you focus on. Choose to see the solution instead of the problem. Refuse to let minor situations steal your peace. Let go of what you cannot control. Build a mind that remains steady even in the face of adversity. Because the person who can control their mind can control their destiny. Emotional intelligence is one of the most powerful skills you can develop in life. It is the ability to understand and manage your emotions, while also recognizing the emotions of others. Many people react to situations without thinking, allowing their emotions to control their actions. They get angry when things do not go their way, frustrated when faced with obstacles, and discouraged when things do not happen as quickly as they want. But those who master emotional intelligence remain calm, no matter the situation. They understand that emotions are temporary, and reacting impulsively only leads to regret. They do not allow themselves to be controlled by circumstances. Instead, they take control of how they respond. The key to mastering emotional intelligence is self-awareness. You must learn to observe your emotions without letting them dictate your actions when something upsets you. Take a step back and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What triggered this emotion is my reaction. Helping or hurting the situation by taking the time to analyze your emotions. You gain control over them instead of letting frustration turn into anger or fear turn into panic. You develop the ability to process your feelings calmly and respond wisely. This skill separates those who struggle from those who succeed. People who struggle allow their emotions to lead them, while people who succeed learn to lead their... One of the greatest challenges in life is dealing with difficult people. There will always be people who test your patience, who say things that trigger negative emotions, who try to bring you down, but emotional intelligence allows you to remain unaffected. Instead of reacting emotionally to negativity, you learn to rise above it. You understand that other people's behavior is a reflection of them, not you. If someone is rude, that is their issue, not yours. If someone criticizes you, that is a reflection of their perspective, not your worth. When you develop emotional intelligence, you stop taking things personally. You learn to respond with wisdom rather than react with emotion. Emotional intelligence also allows you to handle challenges with a clear mind. Life will test you. You will face setback, disappointments, and unexpected problems, but how you handle these situations determines your success. Many people allow challenges to break them. They get overwhelmed. They stress. They let fear take over. But those with emotional intelligence take a different approach. Instead of panicking, they focus on solutions instead of letting fear control them. They remain calm and analyze the situation logically. They understand that problems are a part of life, but their respond to those problems is what truly matters. Developing emotional intelligence requires discipline. You must train yourself to pause before reacting when faced with a difficult situation. Instead of reacting immediately, take a deep breath. and give yourself a moment to think. Ask yourself, what is the best way to handle this? What outcome do I want? How can I respond in a way that benefits me in the long run? By practicing this habit, you train your mind to stay calm under pressure over time. It becomes second nature. You no longer allow small inconveniences to ruin your day. You no longer let emotions dictate your decisions. You gain the ability to handle any situation with confidence and composure. Another key to emotional intelligence is learning to let go of what you cannot control. Many people waste energy worrying about things that are beyond their influence. They stress over the past, dwell on what others think of them, and fear things that have not even happened yet. But worrying does not change anything. Stressing over the past does not undo it. Fear of the future does not prevent challenges. The only thing that creates real change is focusing on what you can control. Your thoughts, your actions, your mindset. When you stop trying to control everything and start focusing on managing yourself, you experience true freedom. Retreat is another essential part of emotional intelligence. Your ability to stay calm in every situation depends on how well you manage your impulses. When someone says something that upsets you, do you react immediately, or do you pause and choose your response when faced with a stressful situation? Do you let anxiety take over, or do you take a deep breath and focus on what you can do? Retreat is what separates those who are constantly stressed from those who remain calm. It is what allows you to maintain your peace even when surrounded by chaos. The way you talk to yourself also plays a huge role in your emotional intelligence. Your inner dialogue shapes your emotions and responses. If you constantly tell yourself that things are difficult, that you cannot handle stress, that life is unfair, your mind will believe it. But if you train yourself to think differently, your reactions will change when faced with challenges. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," say, "I will figure this out." Instead of saying, "I can't handle this," say, "I've handled tough situations before, and I will handle this too." The words you tell yourself shape your emotions, and your emotions shape your actions. Train yourself to speak to yourself in a way that builds confidence and resilience. Another important aspect of emotional intelligence is learning how to manage stress. Stress is inevitable, but how you handle it determines its impact on your life. Many people let stress consume them. They allow negative thoughts to spiral out of control. They focus on worst-case scenarios, and they become overwhelmed by anxiety. But those with emotional intelligence take a different approach. They recognize stress as a signal to take action, not as something to fear. They use stress as motivation to find solutions rather than allowing it to paralyze them. They practice relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, or exercise to keep their minds clear. They understand that stress is temporary and that they have the power to control their response to it. Emotional intelligence also helps you build better relationships. When you understand your own emotions, you become more empathetic toward others. You recognize that everyone is dealing with their own challenges, their own fears, their own struggles. Instead of reacting defensively when someone is upset, you learn to listen and understand. Instead of letting conflicts escalate, you learn to resolve them with wisdom and patience. Emotional intelligence allows you to connect with people on a deeper level, creating stronger and more meaningful relationships. At the core of emotional intelligence is the understanding that you are responsible for your own emotions. No one can control how you feel unless you allow them to. No situation has the power to break you unless you give it permission. When you master emotional intelligence, you take full ownership of your reactions. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop blaming other people, and you start focusing on how you can respond in the most effective way. You become unshakable. No matter what happens, you remain in control. This is the mindset that leads to success, peace, and true strength. A calm mind is the foundation of clear thinking and wise decision-making. Many people let their emotions dictate their responses, reacting impulsively to situations. Instead of taking a step back to analyze them, training your mind to be calm in every situation is not about suppressing emotions, but about understanding them and choosing how to respond. When you learn to stay calm, you gain control over your life, rather than letting external events control you. A calm mind allows you to navigate challenges with clarity, make rational choices, and maintain inner peace, regardless of what is happening around you. Of the key elements of training your mind to be calm is developing the ability to pause before reacting. Most people react immediately to situations without considering the consequences of their actions. They allow anger, frustration, or fear to take over, which often leads to regrettable decisions. But when you pause, you give yourself the opportunity to choose your response instead of letting emotions dictate your actions. You take a moment to breathe, assess the situation, and decide the best way to move forward. This simple habit can transform the way you handle challenges and conflicts in life. Another powerful way to train your mind to remain calm is to shift your focus from what you cannot control to what you can. Many people waste energy worrying about things beyond their influence. Other people's opinions, past mistakes, or unpredictable events. This leads to stress and anxiety because they feel powerless. But when you shift your focus to what you can control, your thoughts, your reactions, your actions, you regain your power. You realize that while you cannot control everything that happens, you can always control how you respond. This mindset creates a sense of inner stability that remains unshaken no matter what life throws at you. Developing patience is another essential part of training your mind to be calm. In today's fast-paced world, people expect immediate results, instant gratification, and quick solutions. When things do not happen as fast as they want, they become anxious and frustrated. But true calmness comes from understanding that some things take time, whether it is personal growth, success, healing, or relationships. Everything has its own timeline. When you develop patience, you stop feeling rushed by external pressures. You trust the process, knowing that everything unfolds at the right time. This patience allows you to stay calm even in moments of uncertainty because you no longer feel the need to force things to happen before their time. Another key aspect of training your mind to be calm is controlling your inner dialogue. The way you talk to yourself shapes your emotions and reactions. If your mind is filled with negative thoughts, worry, self-doubt, fear, it will be difficult to stay calm. But if you train yourself to think in a more positive and constructive way, you create a foundation of inner peace. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," tell yourself, "I will find a way through this." Instead of thinking, "I can't handle this," remind yourself, "I have handled tough situations before, and I will handle this too." Your thoughts create your emotional state. So if you want a calm mind, must train yourself to think in a way that supports calmness rather than disrupts it. Breathing techniques and mindfulness practices are also powerful tools for cultivating a calm mind. When you focus on your breath, you bring your attention to the present moment. This prevents your mind from getting lost in worries about the past or future. Deep breathing activates the body's relaxation response, reducing stress and helping you stay composed. Practicing mindfulness, being fully present in whatever you are doing, trains your mind to stay focused and prevents it from being overwhelmed by unnecessary thoughts. The more you practice these techniques, the more natural it becomes to remain calm in every situation. Another important factor in staying calm is learning how to detach from external chaos. Many people allow themselves to be emotionally affected by everything happening around them. The news, social media, other people's problem. They absorb ABB negativity from the outside world, which creates constant stress. But when you train yourself to detach emotionally from things that do not serve you, you free yourself from unnecessary anxiety. This does not mean you stop caring about the world, but you become selective about what you allow into your mental space. You learn to protect your peace by setting boundaries and focusing on what truly matters. Self-discipline is another crucial element of a calm mind. People who lack self-discipline often feel out of control. Because they react based on impulse rather than intention, they allow their emotions to dictate their decisions, which leads to instability. But when you develop self-discipline, you train yourself to act with purpose rather than react. Emotionally, you learn to control your impulses, delay gratification, and make decisions based on long-term benefits rather than short-term emotion. This creates a strong sense of inner stability, making it easier to remain calm in any situation. Another essential part of training your mind to be calm is understanding that challenges are a natural part of life. Many people get stressed when things do not go as planned because they expect life to be smooth and predictable. But the reality is that setbacks, obstacles, and difficulties are unavoidable. The key is to change how you perceive them. Instead of seeing challenges as problems, see them as opportunities for growth instead of resisting. Difficulties, embrace them as a chance to become stronger when you shift your perspective. In this way, challenges no longer disrupt your peace. You remain calm, knowing that every difficulty is simply a stepping stone to greater wisdom and strength. A calm mind is also the result of gratitude. When you focus on what is going well in your life instead of what is missing, your mind naturally becomes more peaceful. Many people experience stress because they are always chasing more success, more money, more achievements. While ambition is good, constantly feeling like you are lacking something creates anxiety, but when you take time to appreciate what you already have, you develop a sense of contentment, gratitude, shifts your focus from what is wrong to what is right, creating an inner peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. The ultimate key to a calm mind is trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, trust that things are unfolding as they should. Many people experience stress because they feel the need to control everything they worry about. The future, doubt their abilities, and fear the unknown. But when you develop trust that you are capable, trust that you will figure things out. You eliminate unnecessary stress. You stop overthinking, stop doubting, stop fearing, and simply flow with life. Training your mind to be calm is not something that happens overnight, but with consistent practice, it becomes your natural state. You develop the ability to remain unshaken in the face of difficulties, to respond wisely instead of reacting emotionally, and to handle any situation with confidence and clarity. A calm mind is one of the greatest strengths you can develop because it allows you to navigate life with peace, wisdom, and resilience no matter what happens around you. Your inner world remains stable, and that is the true foundation of strength in the journey of training your mind to remain calm. In every situation, one of the most powerful practices you can adopt is emotional detachment. Many people go through life feeling controlled by their emotions, reacting impulsively to circumstances instead of responding with clarity and wisdom. When you learn to emotionally detach, you do not become cold or indifferent, but rather you develop the ability to observe situations without letting them overwhelm you. This skill is essential for maintaining inner peace because it allows you to process challenges objectively without getting lost in unnecessary stress or emotional turmoil. Emotional detachment does not mean that you stop caring about life or the people around you. Instead, it means that you no longer allow external events or the behavior of others to dictate your emotional state. Too often, people feel upset, anxious, or frustrated because they internalize everything that happens to them. Someone says something negative and they take it personally, plan falls apart, and they feel like everything is against them. But when you train yourself to detach emotionally, you realize that not everything requires a reaction. You develop the ability to step back, observe the situation, and decide whether it even deserves your energy. This simple shift in mindset can save you from unnecessary suffering and help you remain calm, even in the most challenging circumstances. One of the key benefits of emotional detachment is that it allows you to break free from the need for external validation. Many people feel restless and anxious because they are constantly seeking approval from others. They worry about what people think of them. They seek praise and they fear judgment, this attachment to others. Opinions creates instability because their emotions become dependent on how others perceive them. But when you detach, you understand that your worth is not determined by external validation. You stop relying on praise to feel good and stop fearing criticism. You become grounded in your own self-worth, which allows you to remain calm and confident regardless of how people respond to you. And another important aspect of emotional detachment is learning to let go of control. Many people experience stress because they feel the need to control everything around them, their circumstances, other people's behavior, the outcome of situations, and they struggle with uncertainty because they believe that they must always have control over how things unfold. But life is unpredictable, and no matter how much you plan, there will always be things beyond your control. When you emotionally detach, you accept this truth. You stop resisting reality and start flowing with it instead of forcing things to happen a certain way. You trust that whatever happens is part of a greater process. This trust allows you to remain calm even in moments of uncertainty because you no longer feel the need to control everything. Letting go of attachment to the past is another crucial part of emotional detachment. Many people carry emotional baggage from past experiences, allowing old wounds, regrets, and disappointments to affect their present state of mind. They replay negative experiences in their minds, wishing things had happened differently, or they hold on to resentment towards people who wrong them. This attachment to the past creates unnecessary suffering and prevents them from experiencing peace in the present. But when you train your mind to detach from the past, you free yourself from its emotional weight. You understand that what has happened cannot be changed, and the only thing you can control is how you move forward. You stop dwelling on past mistakes, stop holding on to grudges, and stop letting past pain define your present. This mental freedom allows you to remain calm and focused on the opportunities in front of you. Another essential aspect of emotional detachment is learning how to set boundaries. Many people experience stress because they allow others to take advantage of their time, energy, and emotion. They say yes to things they do not want to do. They tolerate toxic behavior, and they feel obligated to please everyone. But when you train your mind to detach emotionally, you realize that you are not responsible for making everyone happy. You learn to set firm boundaries, protect your energy, and say no when necessary. You stop feeling guilty for prioritizing your own well-being and understand that setting boundaries is an act of self-reset. When you create this space for yourself, you naturally feel more at peace and less overwhelmed by external pressures. Practicing mindfulness is another powerful tool for emotional detachment. Many people live in a state of constant mental chaos, their minds filled with endless thoughts, worries, and distractions. They overthink situations, imagine worst-case scenarios, and let their thoughts create unnecessary stress. But mindfulness teaches you to focus on the present moment. When you practice mindfulness, you become an observer of your thoughts rather than a prisoner of them. You notice when your mind is creating unnecessary stress and you bring yourself back to the present. This simple practice helps you detach from the mental noise that often leads to emotional instability, allowing you to stay calm, common-centered. And other key benefit of emotional detachment is that it helps you navigate relationships with greater ease. Many conflicts arise because people take things personally, react impulsively, or become emotionally attached to how others behave. When you learn to detach, you stop expecting people to behave a certain way in order for you to feel happy. You accept people as they are without trying to change them or control their actions. You understand that everyone has their own journey and their behavior is a reflection of them, not of you. This understanding allows you to approach relationships with more patience, less emotional reactivity, and a greater sense of peace. Emotional detachment also allows you to make better decisions when you are too emotionally attached to an outcome. You may make impulsive choices based on fear, desperation, or attachment. But when you detach, you make decisions from a place of clarity rather than emotion. You weigh your options, objectively consider the long-term consequences, and choose what is truly best for you, rather than what satisfies a temporary emotional need. This ability to make rational, thoughtful decisions strengthens your confidence and allows you to navigate life with greater wisdom. At its core, emotional detachment is about creating space between your emotions and your reactions. It is about recognizing that you are not your emotions, you are the observer of them. You can feel disappointment without letting it consume you, face challenges without feeling overwhelmed, and interact with others without taking everything personally. This mindset shift empowers you to remain calm in every situation, no matter how challenging, and the journey of emotional detachment is not about becoming indifferent or emotionless. It is about gaining control over how you process emotions and respond to situations. It is about choosing peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, and wisdom over impulsivity. When you master this skill, you experience life with greater freedom, resilience, and inner stability. You realize that true strength does not come from reacting to everything, but from knowing when to let go in the process of training your mind to be calm. In every situation, one of the most essential skills you can develop is patience. Patience is not merely waiting for something to happen. It is the ability to remain composed, steady, and focused in the face of obstacles, delays, and challenges. It is a sign of mental strength, a reflection of inner discipline, and a key ingredient to achieving long-term success. In any aspect of life, many people struggle with patience because they live in a world that promotes instant gratification. They want quick results, immediate rewards, and fast solutions to their problems. But true progress, whether in personal growth, relationships, or professional success, requires time, effort, and endurance. The ability to remain calm and patient in difficult situations separates those who struggle with constant frustration from those who navigate life with grace. And wisdom, patience, is more than just waiting. It is about how you wait. Some people wait with anxiety, frustration, and a sense of helplessness, while others wait with confidence, trust, and inner peace. When you develop patience, you learn to accept that not everything will happen according to your timeline. You understand that some things are outside of your control, and instead of resisting this truth, you embrace it. This acceptance allows you to remain calm, even when life does not go as planned. You do not waste energy worrying about things you cannot change. Instead, you focus on what you can control: your mindset, your actions, and your attitude. One of the biggest challenges to patience is dealing with adversity when faced with setbacks. Many people become frustrated, lose motivation, or even give up entirely. They see obstacles as signs that they are failing rather than as opportunities to grow stronger. But when you train your mind to be patient, you develop resilience. You understand that every setback is a lesson, every delay is an opportunity for growth, and every hardship is a test of your endurance. You do not allow temporary difficulties to shake your inner peace. Instead, you use them as stepping stones to become wiser, more disciplined, and more determined. Another area where patience is crucial is in relationships. Many conflicts arise because people lack the patience to understand each other, to listen before reacting, and to give relationships the time they need to develop in today's fast-paced world. People expect instant connections, immediate understanding, and quick resolutions to conflicts. But meaningful relationships require time, effort, and patience. When you develop patience, you learn to listen without interrupting, to understand before judging, and to give people the space they need to grow. You do not react impulsively to disagreements or frustrations. Instead, you respond with wisdom and composure. This ability to remain calm and patient in relationships leads to stronger connections, better communication, and deeper mutual respect. Patience is also essential when it comes to achieving personal goals. Many people give up on their dreams because they do not see immediate progress. They start a new habit, a new business, or a new skill, and when they do not see instant results, they become discouraged. But success is not about speed, it is about consistency. The most successful people in any field understand that great things take time. They do not rush the process or expect overnight success. Instead, they trust in their efforts, remain patient, and keep working, even when results are not immediately visible. They understand that every small step they take is building towards something greater. One of the greatest benefits of developing patience is that it reduces stress and anxiety. Impatience often leads to frustration, anger, and unnecessary worry. When you are constantly rushing, feeling restless, or expecting instant results, you create a state of mental tension. This stress affects your overall well-being, making you feel overwhelmed and exhausted, but when you cultivate patience, you let go of the need to force things to happen. You learn to trust the timing of life, to embrace the present moment, and to find peace in the process rather than just the outcome. This shift in mindset allows you to move through life with greater ease, less stress, and more joy. Practicing patience also improves decision-making. When people act impulsively, they often make choices they later regret. They react out of anger, fear, or desperation, leading to poor decisions. But when you are patient, you take the time to think before you act. You consider the consequences of if your choices, weigh your options carefully, and make decisions based on logic, rather than emotion. This ability to pause and reflect before taking action prevents unnecessary mistakes and allows you to navigate life with greater wisdom and clarity. Another important aspect of patience is learning to trust the journey. Many people become frustrated because they are constantly focused on the destination rather than the process. They believe that they will only be happy once they achieve a certain goal, reach a certain milestone, or attain a specific outcome, but true peace comes from embracing the journey, not just the destination. When you develop patience, you learn to appreciate where you are while working towards where you want to be. You find joy in the progress and the lessons learned along the way and in the small victories that lead to bigger successes. Developing patience requires practice, but it is a skill that can be cultivated over time. One of the best ways to build patience is through mindfulness. When you practice mindfulness, you train yourself to be present in the moment rather than constantly worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. You learn to observe your thoughts without reacting to them, to slow down instead of rushing, and to find peace. In stillness, this ability to stay grounded in the present helps you remain calm and patient in all aspects of life. Another way to develop patience is through self-discipline. Patience and discipline go hand in hand. When you have discipline, you do not give in impulsive reactions or short-term desires. You have the self-desire to delay gratification, to stay committed to your goals, and to remain steady, even when things take longer than expected. This self-discipline strengthens your ability to remain patient in every situation. Knowing that good things take time, patience is a form of strength. It is the ability to endure without losing hope, to persist without becoming discouraged, and to remain calm even in the face of uncertainty. It is a mindset that allows you to navigate life with greater peace, resilience, and wisdom. When you train your mind to be patient, you free yourself from unnecessary stress, improve your relationships, and set yourself up for long-term success. You learn to trust the process, embrace the present, and find joy in the journey. The more you cultivate patience, the more you realize that true calmness does not come from controlling external circumstances, but from mastering your inner world. In the journey of training your mind to be calm in every situation, one of the most powerful skills you can develop is the ability to control your emotions. Emotions are an essential part of being human. They give life meaning, help us connect with others, and guide our decision-making. However, when emotions are not managed properly, they can become overwhelming, leading to impulsive actions, unnecessary conflicts, and mental stress. Emotional control does not mean suppressing your feelings or pretending they do not exist. Instead, it means acknowledging your emotions, understanding them, and responding to them in a way that aligns with your values and long-term goals. It is the ability to remain composed, thoughtful, and rational. Even in the midst of chaos or adversity, many people struggle with emotional control because they react rather than respond. When something triggers a negative emotion, such as anger, frustration, or fear, they immediately act on it, without taking a moment to process what they are feeling. This impulsive reaction often leads to regret, as decisions made in the heat of emotion are rarely the best ones. The key to mastering emotional control is learning to create a space between stimulus and response. When you train your mind to pause before reacting, you give yourself the opportunity to assess the situation objectively and choose a response that aligns with wisdom rather than impulse. One of the greatest challenges to emotional control is dealing with anger. Anger is a powerful emotion that, if left unchecked, can damage relationships, create unnecessary stress, and lead to poor decisions. When someone says something hurtful or when things do not go as planned, it is easy to let anger take over and react aggressively. However, reacting with anger rarely solves the problem. Instead, it often makes things worse. Training your mind to stay calm in these situations requires awareness and practice. The first step is recognizing when anger arises and acknowledging its presence without letting it control your action instead of reacting immediately. And take a deep breath. Step back and ask yourself whether responding with anger will truly serve you in the long run. More often than not, a calm and measured response will lead to a better outcome. Another common emotional challenge is dealing with fear and anxiety. Many people allow fear to dictate their actions, avoiding challenges or opportunities because they are afraid of failure or rejection. Anxiety keeps the mind trapped in a cycle of worry, making it difficult to focus or make clear decisions. The key to overcoming fear is recognizing that it is often an illusion, a projection of worst-case scenarios that may never happen. When you train your mind to remain calm in fearful situations, you develop the ability to see things as they truly are, rather than through the lens of anxiety. Instead of letting fear paralyze, you learn to reframe it as a signal that you are stepping outside of your comfort zone and growing as a person. Emotional control is also essential. In relationships, many conflicts arise not because of actual problems, but because of the way people react to them emotionally. When someone criticizes you or disagrees with you, it is easy to become defensive, lash out, or shut down emotionally. But true emotional intelligence involves understanding that not every disagreement is a personal attack. When you train your mind to stay calm in difficult conversations, you create space for healthy dialogue and mutual understanding. You listen with an open mind, respond with thoughtfulness, and avoid unnecessary arguments that stem from emotional reactivity rather than logic. And another crucial aspect of emotional control is learning to manage disappointment. Life does not always go as planned, and setbacks are inevitable. Many people become overwhelmed by disappointment, allowing it to consume their thoughts and emotions. They dwell on what went wrong, replaying the situation in their minds and feeling powerless to move forward. However, emotional resilience comes from accepting that disappointment is a natural part of life and using it as a learning experience, rather than a reason to give up. When you train your mind to handle disappointment with calmness, you develop the ability to adapt, find new solutions, and keep moving forward without being emotionally paralyzed. Practicing mindfulness is one of the most effective ways to strengthen emotional control. Mindfulness involves observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, allowing you to become more aware of how you react to different situations. When you practice mindfulness, you learn to detach from impulsive reactions and instead choose thoughtful responses. This awareness creates a sense of inner peace, allowing you to navigate life's ups and downs without being constantly controlled by fleeting emotions. Another powerful tool for emotional control is self-reflection. Taking time to analyze your emotional patterns helps you identify triggers and develop strategies for responding more effectively. Ask to yourself, what situations tend to trigger strong emotions in me? How do I usually react? And how could I respond differently? By becoming more conscious of your emotional tendencies, you gain greater control over how you handle challenges. Self-reflection also helps you recognize that emotions are temporary. No matter how intense a feeling may seem in the moment, it will eventually pass. Developing emotional control requires patience and practice, but the benefits are profound. When you are able to regulate your emotions, you gain a greater sense of confidence and stability. You no longer feel like a victim of your emotions, constantly being pulled in different directions based on how you feel at any given moment. Instead, you become the master of your own mind, able to remain calm and composed. Even in difficult situations, this mental strength allows you to make better decisions, build healthier relationships, and approach life with a sense of clarity and purpose. One of the most important realizations in emotional control is understanding that external circumstances do not determine your emotions. Many people believe that they will only be happy when certain conditions are met, such as getting a promotion, being in a perfect relationship, or achieving financial success. But true emotional stability comes from within, when you develop the ability to stay calm and centered. Regardless of external situations, you free yourself from the constant ups and downs of life. You realize that your peace of mind is not depending on what happens around you, but on how you choose to respond. Emotional control is a lifelong skill that requires continuous growth and self-awareness. It is not about suppressing emotions, but about mastering them in a way that allows you to live with wisdom, balance, and inner peace. When you train your mind to remain calm in every situation, you unlock a level of emotional freedom that few people achieve. You no longer react impulsively or let temporary emotions dictate your actions. Instead, you move through life. With a steady and composed mindset able to handle challenges with resilience and grace, this ability not only improves your own well-being, but also inspires those around you to cultivate the same level of emotional intelligence. Thank you for listening, and subscribe, comment on the channel,